Insurgency Sandstorm recently got an update, 1.3, that included the addition of the Hardcore Co-op Checkpoint mode. Now, a lot of you guys are doing great, and you're playing tactically and everything's working out, but some of you guys might be dying a lot, and that's totally understandable. The game is very different now if you play it in hardcore, so these are a few of my favorite tips and tricks to help you survive in hardcore mode, so let's just jump right into it. Alright, so the first tip I have is obviously when you're walking around with your teammates, try to stick together, but not too close because you don't want to eat a Molotov cocktail. If you don't know where your teammates are, you can always hit the tab key by default, I believe, which will pull open the map. And the map screen is great for several things, but the first thing that we're going to talk about here is identifying where your teammates are, their locations, and that will also go into you knowing when to be pre-aimed and when not to be, as well as when to maybe hold your fire. I know you die very, very quickly in this mode. If a bot sees you for 0.2 seconds, they're pretty much going to headshot you. But the thing is friendly fire is very deadly in this mode as well, so you really need to be careful when you just start bursting open. So what you want to do is make sure that you're hitting tab, looking at the map, seeing exactly where your teammates' positions are, to kind of get it into your mind, like when you go into this building, you know your teammates are inside, so maybe hold your fire, you know, have a little bit better trigger discipline, but still be ready to shoot, of course, but just keep in mind that if you don't see an insurgent, or vice versa, a security if you're playing as the insurgents, it might be good to hold your fire. The map also gives you intel like where the ammo supply caches are, like the big resupplies, as well as the enemy's respawn positions, so once you capture a point and need to defend, you can see which direction they are going to hit you from. Very, very useful information, especially for new players. Another really important aspect to the hardcore difficulty, of course, is scavenging for weapons and ammo and equipment. Now, a really important thing to do is always pick up those enemy RPGs. If there's ever a technical or a truck inbound, having one of those at your disposal is absolutely huge. You can't always rely on your demolitions player to be alive because hardcore is just that unforgiving that your demo might bite the dust and your sniper might bite the dust. Then you're pretty much running really, really low on options for anti-tank. So it's very important to be picking up anything anti-tank or anti-vehicle as you go along. Also pick up Molotov cocktails so you can more quickly dispatch of the weapon caches. And heck, even the smoke grenades are really useful in here, so make sure that you're throwing those down, you know, so your teammates can cross busy intersections. And speaking of ammo, so as you might or might not know, when you're playing hardcore, the actual weapon cache that spawns for you to resupply from is randomly generated, so you can never really rely on a full resupply at any point during the match other than at the very end objective. So a very important thing to keep in mind is while you're scavenging for weapons and ammo, whenever you capture a point, it will spawn these little mini ammo boxes. They're green boxes and they're typically randomly scattered about objectives. If you walk up to it, you can hold F and I believe it'll fill up all of your primary ammunition. So a good strategy is if you die and respawn, you come back, switch to an enemy weapon that you like, that you know you can get more ammo for, like an AK or an M4 platform. Then go over to the ammo box, pick yourself up a full thing of ammo, and you'll be good to go for the next objective. You can also call these out to your teammates, so if you're actually stocked up on ammo, do let your teammates know that you are standing next to an ammo box and stand there until they come and pick it up, because otherwise it will be kind of a waste of ammo. A lot of people play this mode and don't realize this, so letting them know about this is very, very useful for team play. And to kind of reiterate on my earlier point, do pick up an M4 or an AK in your primary loadout if you can. Pretty much anything that's firing 5.56 or 7.62 ammunition is going to be god tier in hardcore just because of the fact that you can pick up magazines from the fallen enemy's weapons. If you're playing security, even the insurgents will use an M4A1 from time to time, so you can actually pick up their magazines as well. And of course, if your comrades bite the dust and they're also using an M4 platform, there's more ammo for you. The name of the game in hardcore is ammo and ammunition and conserving, so the more ammo that you can have access to, the more kills you're likely to get, and that's a good thing. Alright, and moving on to another tip for hardcore co-op, I always advise, especially if you're holding a very heavy weapon like the sniper rifles or the LMGs, always bring the fast or the quick draw holster. That thing will save your ass, like, every time. Anytime that you need to get into a close quarters situation, it's always good to have your pistol ready as soon as possible, especially if you get caught off guard. This thing has saved me so many times, and it's a great attachment. I'd also recommend either picking the extended magazine for the pistol or the laser sight. Those are both optional. However, if you have extra rounds to work with that you can kind of spray towards the enemy from the hip fire initially on the draw, you might have a better chance of actually securing the kill than if you didn't. And same thing with the laser sight. Having all of those shots, those quick reaction shots, actually land where you need them to will be very important to your survival. So you don't need those, but they can definitely make a difference sometimes. And another really quick tip is, when you're moving up with your squad, make sure that you're communicating constantly. I know it's kind of a no-duh thing, but most of the time when you play this, if you're communicating and you're sticking with your teammates and you're watching their backs, watching their six, they'll be watching yours as well. This won't always happen, of course. You'll have people just disregarding everybody. But for the most part, if you're communicating, your team will communicate back, and if you work together, your chances of success just go through the roof. Of course, work with your commanders. If they call in air support, please, for the love of God, don't run towards the colored smoke because you will die. The objective in this game is definitely a lot easier if your commanders have full access to just going ham with the air support. Now keep in mind, air support in this mode is very, very finicky in that if you call in your helicopters, especially at the end of the game when you should be calling them in, they will die very quickly, especially if there's a technical in the area or an insurgent with a PKM or a similar LMG or sniper rifle. The update actually made it where the helicopters have damage on the pilots, so the pilots can actually be killed fairly easily, and the door gunners as well, so just keep that in mind. Your air support is not nearly as reliable. However, that means that you can also open up with your A-10 Warthog strikes, as well as mortars. Your commander might need to call in a lot of danger close stuff, so just keep that in mind, and if you're playing commander and observer, keep your team aware of where the stuff is coming in. If you see a particular player near something that you're calling in, tell them to evacuate as soon as possible. If you accidentally hit your teammates with the air support, the damage will come back on the commander, I believe, and it will kill them sometimes. This has happened to me several times, so just know that if you're running into your commander's air support, you're not just killing yourself, you're killing your commander, so it's going to definitely hurt your chances of winning. And my last tip is, do not become impatient. If you're really used to the standard co-op mode, you probably sprint everywhere you go, but just keep in mind that the slower movement speed is actually there to help you and not to hurt you. Of course, you want to be keeping up with your team and not being totally left in the dust. However, it's very, very good that you move as slow as you do, because that means you can take each corner with extra precision and extra caution, and you can really get the drop on enemies with that. It can be very helpful to your survival. The only thing that it won't be helpful for is your survival against grenades. If you hear any grenade dropping on the ground, immediately just start running backwards. I mean, this won't always save you because sometimes they throw it behind you, but just keep in mind that if you hear any grenade, shout out grenade to your teammates. They'll scatter, hopefully, and maybe it'll save some lives sometimes. Also, while we're on the subject, if you do the intimidate command at the enemy AI, they tend to throw grenades in your direction, so just keep that in mind. If you get into a firefight and take cover and or use the intimidate command, the insurgents will more than likely start popping off Molotovs into your exact position, so that's just a very important tip. If you're near a window or an open area where a Molotov can be thrown, just keep in mind that you're always exposed in hardcore. Do you guys have any more tips? Leave them down in the comment section. I'd be very interested to read those, as well as I'm sure people would be very appreciative of your knowledge of the game. My name is AFarCryAway. This has been another Insurgency Sandstorm video. I appreciate you guys watching. These videos have been really taking off on the channel and doing quite well, so I appreciate you guys coming by to view these. It means a lot. If you leave comments, likes, and subscribe, obviously, that helps out the channel big time. Trying to hit 10,000 subscribers. Also, we have a Discord server where we play games, have fun, talk about video game deals, free games, everything. So, yeah, we also have a waifu chat, so if you got a waifu, there you go. Thank you guys very much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Stay frosty out there. Oh my god. Yo, I found some legs. Look at these legs.
Yo, I got a leg fetish.
No! Come on, Ice.